Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
So wait, why are we recording at Tom's house this week?
I don't know. Cecil said it was important.
All right. Is this it? Are we here?
I mean, I think so.
Hey guys.
Hey, Cecil. What's going on in Tom's front yard? What is that?
Yeah, okay, so this one's on me. The topic this week is spite houses, and you know how much Noah loves spite.
Yeah,
so
he really
what
does.
happened-
He really does.
It's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't think of it till I sent around this week's topic, and well, this is the result here. What the problem?
Yeah, I see that. I mean, it could be worse though.
Honestly, all of Noah's vengeances considered, this one's pretty tame.
Yeah, you didn't let me finish. So,
we didn't.
well, I mean, you guys know Noah.
He built
and
the house on top of Tom.
Yeah, I'll go
didn't
get
he?
the shovels.
He did. Yeah,
Die a lot.
All the time.
it's true. We do. Mostly Tom.
Hello, and welcome to Citation
Okay.
Needed, the podcast.
That's a little much.
Forgive me for trying to
much.
change things up. What the fuck was that? Forgive me for trying to bring some freshness into this relationship. Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on the Wikipedia,
Cut,
and
boring,
pretend
same
we're
thing as
experts.
always.
'Cause this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Eli Bosnick, and I'll be executing this vengeance, but I'll need some co-conspirators. First up, two men for whom vengeance is too little too late, Cecil and Noah.
Well, I know you served this up for me, but vengeance is best served old. So it makes sense.
That's why I find it's easier to just get revenge in advance.
I don't
Yeah.
think that's
Saves everybody.
The pre-venge? I don't know. I didn't.
Prevenge.
Bush
exactly.
venge.
And also joining us tonight, two men who don't care about the vengeance as long as they get served a cold dish.
Oh, do you mean me and Tom? Are we the one?
Yeah.
Tom and T.
He's the job, even.
Yeah, and Eli's just trying to get me to say John Benet Ramsey, but I'm not going to do it. Absolutely not doing it.
No,
I'm not taking the bait.
Oh.
I like my revenge potluck style. Just a sloppy mess everyone regrets when it's all over. That's
Sure.
That's how I like my sex.
Before we begin tonight, I'd like to take a second to thank our patrons. Without your financial support, Noah wouldn't now make significantly more money and be more famous than the guy who fired him at Christmas. And if you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Heath, what person, place, concept, thing, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
I'm so happy about this. This is one of my favorite topics. We're going to be talking about spite houses.
And Cecil, you found out about this to prove it wasn't just your idea. Are you ready to represent your community?
I am the least spiteful person on this cast, and if you doubt me, I will fucking cut you, okay?
So tell us, Cecil, what is a spite house?
Okay, so I'm sure we've all been unnaturally angry at other people.
It's natural, Cecil. It's totally natural. People are terrible.
Well, maybe the way you do it.
Okay. Some of us are in a constant state of anger. Really, the people that I'm going to talk about today took that anger, distilled it into 150 proof grudge alcohol, and then served it cold with a twist of pettiness. So what I'm saying is today we are talking about
Protest
heroes.
voters.
Oh,
Wait, what?
one and the same, Heath. One and the
Got it.
same. Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that I love every single person in this essay, but I am saying that I belong to exactly one Facebook group.
All right, there's a whole list of these. Let's start in Massachusetts, a town called Marblehead. In 1716, Thomas Wood built a house. The house was a pretty normal looking house, except for the addition. Now, there isn't a lot of information about when and where the addition was added, but it basically looks like someone made a giant house cake and then cut it down the middle and took one big piece out of it. There are two competing theories. They both have to do with brothers that can't get along.
And the piano room that would tear them apart.
If this story doesn't involve one brother sawing off the corner of the house, like where the other one is sleeping and sneaking in onto a flatbed, I'm going to be very disappointed.
The first is that the two brothers hated each other because they had to live in this house together, so they took up different sections.
The old Felix and Oscar gambit. A classic every time.
Exactly. The other, and the one I like better, is that one brother was given a much larger portion of the inheritance, but his property was farther away from the coast. So in order to stick it to the favored son, the brother with the smaller oceanfront property built an extension of the house to block the view of the water from his brother's house across the street.
Oh, why is the sun always blocked out from shining in your window? That's my sundial Ferris wheel. That's legit. We're zoned for that here. Sundial Ferris wheel.
You know, the guy with the smaller unit just has to work a little harder. It's an age-old story. Probably an Irish story. Age-old Irish story.
Gotta measure from the butthole.
Bigot.
The next one is in Rockport, Maine. In 1731, an Irish immigrant named James McCobb lived in a log cabin and fathered 10 children. Whew. One of his sons was named Thomas McCobb.
Irish.
Thomas went off to become a sea captain in 1774, like you do. And his dad, at that point, built a giant house for his second wife. A second wife he had 3 children with. One of them, because he ran out of names, I guess, he names Thomas.
I guess by then he probably just forgot about that one, right? Oh, fuck.
8 years later, James McCobb marries for a third time.
Jesus, yeah, because he wore the first two, they're fucking worn out. God damn.
His new wife is Mary Langdon Storer Hill. His new stepson in that marriage marries one of his daughters from his second marriage.
I mean, at the rate this guy is going, you can't blame him. He's not going to find anyone he's not at least a little related to.
At least by marriage. Yeah, exactly.
While Thomas, the sea captain, is away, his dad dies.
Jesus, if it turns out he's Palpatine's grandson, I'm going to be very disappointed.
The third wife, the Hill family, claims the awesome house that dad built by breaking the will. So when Thomas comes back, he builds a bigger, better, and more up-to-date house, basically right in their front yard. But there is a catch. He gets to live out his petty revenge while he's alive, but after he died, he didn't have any descendants. So the third wife's family, the Hills, they wound up with his house and had it moved.
See, this is why Eli and Noah get all my spite stuff in the will. I know that they're going to ramp it up somehow in a way I haven't even thought of. It's going to be awesome.
Also explains why you don't have anything on your wall. So there you go. 2 hills.
I don't know. I feel like had to move my house when I died is still pretty great.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
It is. Dr. John Tyler was the first ophthalmologist to perform a cataract surgery. Weird tidbit from Wikipedia there. In 1814 in Frederick, Maryland, the town had a plan to expand the road right next to his house.
Was there not an ophthalmologist who performed cataract surgery before him?
I guess not.
There's probably a honey badger that technically really ripped something his eye open. You know?
You're going to laugh. There was a pirate fight. Turned out it resulted in exactly a cataract surgery.
Well, he decided to fight the placement of the road. In his legal fight, he came across a law that, quote, prevented the building of a road if work was in progress on a substantial building in the path of a proposed road, end quote. So the night before the crews arrived to start on this new road, Dr. Tyler hired a builder to pour a foundation.
That's awesome.
Just a night builder? He's just hired a night builder.
Just a night builder. And they came by the next day and then they had to abandon the project. And I guess the doctor was like, well, what the hell am I going to do with this stupid, useless foundation? So he built a house there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, what is that? Well, I guess if I don't build a house next to my other house, I'm the one who's going to look like an idiot. So build away, night builders.
Cecil, I hate to criticize your essay like right while you're in the middle of it, but I'm not sure that our audience is going to be able to relate to a custom as ancient and outdated as owning a house, let alone two. Can I give you that? It's just, I feel like...
I think next week Heath is going to do spite couch surfing. Is that
there
what
we go.
is
Okay,
that-
right.
That's a different one. That's a different.
I could be in that one.
That's something our audience can definitely relate to.
Eli has a spite couch to spite my spite couch serving. It's the most uncomfortable possible thing to sleep on. It's ridiculous.
Is it covered in pugs? Is that why it's?
No, that's the only good quality. That is the only good thing.
Turns out they don't make nice things out of fake leather. Weird.
It's like a city bench in a non-progressive city with just like spikes and shit on it. Just,
I needed a set of Allen wrenches to adjust it in the middle of the night. It was a fucking nightmare.
In 1830, John Hollinsbury was pissed that people were using his alleyway as a place to congregate and as a shortcut for horse-drawn carriages. So he decided to put up a house in that alleyway. The alley was 7 feet wide, which is a little over 2 meters. The alley was so small that he had to use existing buildings' exterior walls on either side as interior walls of his new 7 by 20 foot house, which is 325 square feet, by the way.
Are you sure on that?
Well, it is 2 stories. It's 2 stories. So
okay.
yeah,
All
it's
right.
2 stories tall. So
I was like,
Yeah.
I hate to break this
yeah,
to
no,
you,
I mean
Cecil,
that's
the easy
much smaller
one.
than 300. But there is an upper window, so I presume there are 2 stories. The house is still there, and there's gouges on the interior walls made long ago with wagon wheels, and a sign on the wall that says "No loitering." Probably, I'm just making that last bit up. I don't know.
Plus, as a bonus, John really stuck it to his mom, who always told him he sat too close to the television. So, you know.
The next house is the Skinny House in Boston. The story goes that 2 brothers inherited a bit of property, and while one was away serving the military, the other one quickly built a house while the other wasn't looking, using most of the land and leaving only a strip for his brother. So, brother came back and built a house on it, blocking the sunlight and fresh air on that side of the house. The Spite House is 10.4 feet wide at the front and tapers along to a slimmer 9.25 feet in the back. The narrowest
asshole.
point inside the house is 6.2 feet.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
2 stories tall and only has 5 doors in the whole house.
Amazing. So basically just a giant brick wall to be a dick and then like a tent right next to it. So it's technically a house.
totally.
That's amazing.
I mean, you know the old saying, the only view better than the sea is your brother who can fuck himself.
Yeah, right.
In Hiawatha, Kansas in 1880, there was a man named Adam Schilling. See, he owned about 80 acres and he wanted to sell 3/4 of an acre to a man named James Falloon. Well, Mr. Falloon built a house on that 3/4 of an acre. Then it wasn't super clear, but I think Adam Schilling wanted to sell 80 acres of land and not 79.25 acres. So he offered to buy the land back from James. Well, the price was too low. So out of spite, Mr. Schilling built a cheap tenement house 13 feet from his neighbor's house. Now, Wikipedia leaves out the fact that the reason Falloon was so upset was that black people lived in the tenement house. And it literally says that in the law book they sourced it from.
Yeah, like it's weird that Wikipedia is being coy on that because without that fact, this is just the story of that time that one guy had neighbors.
Exactly.
This would not need to be 1880 for the same concept to apply in Kansas, by the way.
You know, fun fact, you can still find deeds in any county archive with restrictions disallowing the sale of property to blacks and Jews. None of those are enforceable deed restrictions now. So the new rule is that they're allowed to buy the house and then you wait for them to go jogging or buy Skittles.
Jesus.
Oh,
Fuck.
wow.
Luckily, Jews never jog, so it's fine. Don't worry about it, everybody.
So a similar story from New York City at Lexington Avenue and 82nd Street. There was a strip of land owned by Joseph Richardson. A larger adjacent plot of land was owned by Hyman Sarner.
Now, Hyman's story breaks down as soon as he goes horseback riding.
Okay. Sarner wanted to build a nice new apartment building and offered to buy the strip of land from Richardson. Richardson's price was $5,000 and Sarner's offer was $1,000. Sarner decided to build the building anyway and did. So Richardson built a 4-story, 104 feet by 5 feet. And he made this into what Wiki calls, quote, a functional, albeit impractical apartment building with 8 suites, each consisting of 3 rooms and a bath, end quote.
Yeah. Also known as a very high-end 4-bedroom New York City apartment.
It couldn't have been that functional because the weird Nugget building was demolished 32 years later. So.
Well, but that's just the way New York is. They took the Twin Towers down after 31 years.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right, but then we built the new one, and that one is definitely a spite house. Let's be real. That's
yeah.
pretty big spite house we got.
God damn it.
That's amazing.
Allegedly.
Also from New York, William Waldorf Astor lived next to his aunt. She happened to have a house, well, a mansion, and they didn't get along. I have no idea what that entails, but when you're rich and spiteful, you can build a hotel, the original Waldorf Hotel, right next to your aunt's house, totally dwarfing it. And then to be extra petty, you could not put windows on the side of the building that faced your aunt's house.
Jeez.
Oh, hey, Auntie, you don't like the blank wall? Yeah, don't worry. We're about to install the Eye of Sauron on it. It'll be way less boring.
Yeah, right. Boy, why not go full billboard of himself mooning her there? Right?
Before you build the Spite Hotel, though, you have to build 3 Spite houses right in a row next to each other. There's rules about this sort of thing.
In Collinsville, Connecticut, there were 2 neighbors that did not get along. They only list one of their professions, a butcher. It's unclear if the other ones were candlestick makers or bakers. In any case, the butcher, sick of his neighbor's shit, built a tiny wooden house between their houses, effectively cutting out the sun from his neighbor's windows. And it doesn't even sound like it was a functional house either. This one is more like a spite prop. Now, the house was torn down eventually by the butcher's son, who was not on petty grudge terms with his neighbors, but they did say the house was as wide as a stairway and had windows and functioning blinds. So like a really nice spite prop.
I like that the butcher was like, I might hate those bastards, but we still live in a society. Put some curtains in there. Come on, let's make this nice.
In Freeport, New York, there was a plan to lay city streets out in a very sensible and easy to follow grid pattern. Well, everyone was on board except one citizen that just wanted to watch it all burn.
MAGA.
Yeah. This landowner decided to put up quote, Victorian house virtually overnight in a triangular plot at the corner of Lena Avenue and Wilson Place to spite the grid designers, end quote. This house is still there today. And you know a bit of trivia if anyone decides to askew about it.
Absolutely.
Askew.
Show me your tits, Cecil. Right now.
Show them to me. Prove you're not a cop.
I think this one is the most confusing of all the reasons. Like, this guy was mad at, like, perpendicularity. Like, this is a weird hill to die on.
No, but this is America. We have people literally dying on the I have every right to sneeze my virus on whoever I want hill, Tom. I would kill for a good geometry grudge right about now.
You say that, Noah, but those grudges almost never end up
Don't say square.
Square.
Okay.
Okay, shit, that's... I mean, we had such
Don't
a
be
lovely
obtuse,
one earlier.
Eli.
We were doing so well.
Charles Froling had a dream. His plan was to build a wonderful little dream house on a plot of land that was passed down to him through his inheritance. Well, the city of Alameda, California had other plans. They put a road right over most of his property and left him with a sliver of land. Well, on that strip of land, Froling built his spite house. It was 20 feet tall, 54 feet long, and only 10 feet wide. He built cantilevers that were in zoning code so he could expand the upstairs level over the sidewalk.
Okay, yeah, but as stupid as that is, that still makes vastly more sense than the entire building scheme that is Houston, Texas.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Are they spite houses if you're punching up? Like, I wonder, I feel like if they're punching across or down, it's a spite house. But if it's like punching up, it's a justice house.
Yeah.
Devout churchgoer Joseph Edelston died in 1904. He had attended the same church for 41 years. The Edelston family asked the church to erect a monument to their father in the churchyard. The church told the family that the churchyard was just too cluttered with monuments already, but if they'd be happy to do so if the family donated that nice bit of land they own next to the churchyard. The family thought it over and they decided to build a nice new house on that land. This isn't the spiteful part. They built a 40-foot column dedicated to their father right next to the brick fence that towered over the trees. And that monument overlooks all the puny monuments inside the churchyard, laughing at their insignificance. It's amazing.
Oh, they should have put a death mask of their dad looking all sad at the top, but otherwise it's perfect.
All right. Also, we need to start buying land next to churches and putting up giant fucking Satan statues or whatever we want.
Inflatable Satans. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually have a few of those willed to Noah and Eli already. You guys are going to have to deal with that.
Yes, that's true.
Wacky, waving, inflatable, arm flailing Satans.
That's pretty
That would be
great.
amazing.
Yeah. Good for the used car business. Good for the spite house. Anyways, while Heath and I find out how obviously wacky Satan can be jerking it, we'll take a quick break for a little something we like to call apropos of nothing. Hi, I'm Eli Bosnick.
And I'm Tom. You know, in today's economy, it's hard to spite like we used to.
Mortgages and zoning laws can make the spite houses of yesterday an impossibility.
That's why we're here to tell you about spite websites.
For as little as $12 a year, or less if you're willing to go on those weirdo websites to buy your domains.
You can purchase domains like heathenright.com and redirect it to the page for ramen noodles.
Okay.
That's not all.
I fucking
Did
hate
you know
you
that
guys.
PastorTonySpell.com and TonySpell.org are free?
They are, and you can put whatever you want on those.
Spite websites. It might not be a house, but it will last forever.
Can I please just like put the-
No. Nope.
even like whatever?
And we're back. When we left off, people were living out Noah's dreams over and over and over again. Where next, Cecil?
In West Cambridge, Massachusetts, Francis O'Reilly had what they called an investment parcel of land. He thought he could make some money off the land, selling it to a neighbor next to the parcel. The neighbor didn't see the need to buy the land, so O'Reilly built a 308 square foot house on it. It's 37 feet long and only 8 feet wide. And this one, unlike a lot of the others we've mentioned, did not block out any of the neighbor's windows or sun. In fact, this tract of land is actually right next to the sidewalk on the side of the yard. So the house looks like a shed or something. And it might be that the spite house actually saves the homeowner on fence costs because it basically sits where a 37-foot long piece of fence would fit.
That has to be embarrassing, right? It's like, yeah, fucker, you like that? You like that fucking spite house? Oh, you do? Oh. Okay, that takes kind of the wind out of my sails on that one. Not gonna.
You take a fucking spite shit in the lawn, grass gets really green.
Or if I did it red.
Dude, go to a doctor.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No.
God.
Sarajevo city government wanted to build a bitchin' new city hall in the city center in 1892. They demolished several buildings, but then hit a roadblock. One of the buildings that they needed removed was owned by a Bosnian fellow that really didn't want to move. So the Austro-Hungarian officials set to work trying to convince the guy. After a series of long negotiations, they settled on a sack full of gold ducats, and the government disassembled his current house, transport it to a new plot of land on the other side of the river, and rebuild it. The government agreed, and the story goes, quote, the old man spent every day of the move sitting in the middle of a nearby bridge, smoking cigarettes and carefully watching the workers transport each brick across the river. When the house was finally rebuilt, it was aptly named Inatkuka, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, or the House of Spite, end quote.
Fun fact, also the name of Paul Ryan's autobiography, House of Spite.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I don't know if this is a spite. This is just good negotiate.
Yeah.
Like that's all.
Yeah.
It's a job.
Right. I'm not going to lie, for a city that started a world war in 1914 because somebody disrespected the grudge they still had over something that happened in 1389, that's really mild spite.
In 1922 in Newbury, Massachusetts, a couple divorced. And I guess they had some pretty interesting laws back then regarding the splitting of assets. The man was required to build an exact replica of his current house for his wife. So he
what?
did. But he found two loopholes he could exploit here. The first was that they didn't specify where it had to be built. So he put it in the Great Marsh on the edge of town. And then I guess they didn't specify that the house had to be plumbed with drinkable water because it has saltwater plumbing, which makes no sense. But that's what Wikipedia says. So
Fucking dick.
He's like, hold on, where's the electrical transformer? He's like, oh, you see that kite with a key on it? That's actually what you want to use right there.
An exact replica of their former marital residence. Like, does that mean every once in a while he gets to show up and not do the dishes and play video games while ignoring her? Just to cozy?
the next one has murky origins, so it might not be true. But in Montlake, Seattle, Washington, one neighbor asked to buy a little slice of land from another neighbor, but offered an insultingly low amount of money for it. This bit of land was tapered pretty badly, and you'd think that you wouldn't be able to do much with it. But the owner of the land, pissed at the lowball offer, decided to build a house there anyway. The house is tapered pretty badly at one end. It starts out normal looking enough on one side, but tapers
are
down.
trapezoid based. I
Yeah.
love how much like trapezoid spite we're
Absolutely.
getting.
This one is a normal house on one side, Heath, and then tapers down to 55 inches on the
Oh
other,
my
which is like
God.
a meter and a half wide.
That's fucking hilarious. Okay, murky origins or no, the house is there, right? Right, and there's no way the motivation for that being true was just that being true. So
In 1934 in Buenos Aires, Karina Kavanaugh built a skyscraper called the Kavanaugh Building. The building was the tallest skyscraper in Latin America at the time of its construction. The legend is that Karina wanted to marry off her daughters to a local wealthy family named Anchoria. Well, that family refused the arranged marriage, and so she built her skyscraper in between the family's palace and the church the family had built. And when you see the design of this building, there is no doubt that it was made to block the view of something.
Absolutely intentional. Yeah. The building's very clearly in the exact shape of the church and steeple that's plowing. 100%. It might as well lean back and forth like a bully stopping you from walking down the hall and trying to look around.
That's so true.
The Kavanaugh Building, built by Tovin and Squee Construction Company.
Oh, Jesus.
Fuck someone every time.
The worst part is checking out their calendar to see when they're going to be on, because it's handwritten.
No spite day here, as you can see. Not a spite day. Proved it.
The next one is another feud between brothers. In Beirut, Lebanon, two brothers fought over land that belonged to both of them. One brother got the short end of the stick, and part of his property was cut away and taken for municipal projects. So he decided to make a house on the land that would despoil his brother's view of the ocean. The house seriously looks like a facade on a Hollywood set. At its widest, the house is 13 feet, but at its narrowest, it's less than 2 feet wide or 60 centimeters. It's called Albasa or The Grudge. George Lucas had a huge plot of land that he wanted to build a movie studio in Marin County in California. The county was affluent and had enough money and clout to bring those plans to a standstill. So Lucas decided to bring down the property values by constructing low-income housing on the spot instead of a studio. Now, Lucas denies that he did this for this reason, but we've all seen his dark side. So
It's all part of his plan to expand the empire.
exactly.
yeah, right. Like we're talking about a guy who made 3 entire spite movies. This doesn't surprise me at all. At all.
This last one is my favorite. In Topeka, Kansas, there's a bigot organization called the Westboro Baptist Church. I'm pretty sure
This is
everyone
an
knows who
amazing
they
story.
are.
This is the greatest. Makes me
These
so
people-
fucking happy.
These are the people who hold anti-gay demonstrations at funerals and national disasters. They hold up signs that say God hates fags. They're awful.
Yeah. Oh, also, by the way, just apropos of nothing, unrelated, here's a 10-digit number I was thinking about just now. I don't know why I thought of this. 785-273-0325. I just like, top of my head, I have 10 digits. I was just like thinking of 10-digit
That's an
numbers.
interesting series of
And like,
digits.
I mean, I think phone numbers are 10 digits.
Was that 785-273-0325?
I'm gonna just, I think 785-273-0325 was the 10-digit number that I thought of.
so weird.
Wow.
Did you say the same thing?
Random.
Will you
I think
repeat
I
it
did. I
back to me?
think-
Because what I said was 785-273-0325.
Yeah, 75
So I'm not sure if we had the same one.
Right. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I think
Send
we're-
him a bomb.
We're vibing.
What?
Jesus,
What?
fuck.
I wanted to play. How come they can? I never get to play.
Anyway, a wonderful group called Planting Peace bought the house across the street. The mission statement of this nonprofit is Planting Peace is a global nonprofit organization founded for the purpose of spreading peace in a hurting world. They painted the exterior colors of the rainbow pride flag on it, and they called it Equality
Fantastic.
House. And then
So
they
good.
liked the house so much, they bought the one next door and painted it the transgender pride flag.
Yep.
I love it.
Beautiful
And the
work.
best part of this is like the WBC is defined in history forever as bothering people by being places. And now, whenever they eat breakfast, they have to be like, they got us. They got us.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And Cecil, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
You should try to be nice to your neighbors. Unless it's your brother, then you should try to poison his soup.
Just poison
That's
it.
probably better.
So much quicker.
And are you ready for the quiz?
Is this the spiting round? Let's do it.
Absolutely. All right, Cecil. So when I buy the house next to Eli's for spite because it's slightly better and he'll fucking hate that, what should I turn it into? A halfway house for struggling libertarians. B, the Francis Bacon Library of Literature. Or C, I literally already have a permit for a ziplining course.
Too far. Too far.
It is not a mixture of all three. You're doing spite
That
wrong,
is correct.
Keith.
D, all the
Yeah.
above. Well done.
All right, Cecil. Admittedly, many of these homes were built for vicious, petty reasons. What is another great reason to build a spite house? A, because you can.
Hey, there's so many good choices, Tom, but A is absolutely
Is
my
it? I don't
favorite.
know how you guessed it.
It's my
First
favorite.
try.
He's
It's
really
my
fucking
favorite.
good. He's really good at this shit. All right. Cecil, spite houses are awesome. But which of these useless, petty, revenge-based structures are most common? A, resentment houses. B, monasteries. C, umbrages.
That's my favorite.
Or D, churches.
Oh, you're trying to get me with churches there because that's the true answer. But I'm going to go with C because it's my favorite. Umbrages.
All right,
It's
well, that was the whole
amazing.
goddamn reason I wrote the question. So, yes, that
a
is
really good one.
correct. Yes, it
So
was
good.
C, umbrages.
So good.
All right, Cecil. Nobody managed to stump you, so you are this week's winner.
Actually, Noah's the winner with Umbrages, so I'm going to pick him to be next week. So take it.
All right. Well, for Tom, Heath, Noah, and Cecil, I'm Eli. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week. And by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can catch Tom and I's new Let's Play channel, Why Are Video Games So Hard? You can listen to Cecil and Noah's new podcast, Grow It Long, and Heath's TikTok, which is still just a picture of his bedside alarm. And if you'd like to help keep this show
get that
going,
show.
you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com. And remember, nobody's ever hated you enough to build a house with saltwater plumbing.